What have you seen from Virginia? They look like they're pretty stout up front.
Yeah, they're a big team. It's size that we didn't see last week, so it's going to be a challenge for our guys. I think they got pretty good athleticism for their size. So I think traveling all the way across the country to play a team like that is going to be a big challenge for us.
What do you think of Seven Harold? It sounds like Mark just kind of compared him to Deion Jordan a little bit.
Yeah, he's a tall, rangy guy that can run. He gets down in a stance. Just looks like he's ready to come get after the quarterback. So our tackle's got to be ready to block him. And we're looking forward to playing against him, but he's a good player.
Are you guys looking forward to showing maybe some ACC people that haven't seen you guys that you're also a physical team and not just a high-powered finesse type team?
Well, we don't have anything to prove to any select people. We talk about having a standard that we're going to be as good as we can, and the playing a faceless opponent and living up to our own personal standards, that's something we live by, not just talk about. This is a team from another conference. They're not as familiar with us, and we're not as familiar with them, but it's going to be a good test for both teams.
A lot of the players have talked about the excitement of playing a team from a different conference that they haven't played before and a bunch of new faces that they haven't seen before. As coaches, do you get excited about that challenge as well?
It's a challenge, definitely a challenge. I think it's fun for players to go to a different part of the country and see a different stadium they've never seen. Some of that will get our energy level up. It's kind of offset by having to travel 5 hours one way and 6 hours the other way, and the challenge of being a mature enough team to handle that kind of travel situation.
You guys were in the mode last couple of days with the heat cranked up. Is that overblown in terms of how much we talk about heat and humidity, or is that a real factor?
Well, it's always good to get your players used to the environment they're going to be playing in. Obviously, we can't simulate everything that our kids are going to face, but our guys have worked so hard in camp that we're in really good shape, and so hopefully the heat won't bother us.
Nick said he might substitute his defensive players a little more liberally because of the heat. Do you think you guys might do that offensively?
We substitute pretty liberally anyway. With the tempo we play at, we got to have a bunch of guys up and ready. It's all hands on deck for us all the time, and we got enough depth, especially at certain positions, that we feel good about putting a lot of different guys in.
What's made this program so good on the road the last 4, 5, 6 years?
I think it's leadership, Chip and Mark both, and also our level of character and integrity and maturity of our players. A lot of kids would get distracted by road trips and being on the road, being in a different hotel. Our kids have the understanding that they have a job to do when they get there, and they've been really good at doing that.
Eric kind of mentioned this earlier, but when a game tape features a game that had so much rain and kind of changed the dynamic of that game, how they played, what can you take? Does it change the way you look at that tape and view a team, what they did after post-rainstorm?
A little bit. I think the weather was definitely a factor in that game. To be honest with you, we're used to having to adjust on the fly because we see things from teams that they haven't shown the entire rest of the season, just because we offer some unique things to stop on offense. So it's no different than any week that we got to kind of see what their plan is against us and do our best to adjust to it.